Have you ever heard the saying that once you're an addict, you're always an addict? Well, on the 17th of May 2007, my book was released, and I gave it this title on purpose: Once an Addict. Why? Because I was once an addict and now I'm clean. Actually, 24 years clean. I was an addict for 15 years and I met 3 people who were Christians. One of them invited me to church, so I went. That day, I was prayed for at the end and I had a light bulb moment. That was when God jumped in to my life. And from that point on, my life totally changed. You could be watching this and you could have an addiction of some sort. Do you know? That same God that jumped into my life, He can jump into yours. But you need to accept that you need God's assistance. You've got to be ready to change. And then you need to separate yourself from bad influences. I remember meeting a well-known villain in a prison I was speaking at in the Northeast. And he became a Christian in prison and he got out of prison. And I ended up meeting him again at a meeting I was speaking at outside the jail. And he was there and I sat with him and we chatted and he told me that he'd moved away from the city that he was well known in so he could make a fresh start. You see, he separated himself from bad influences and now he's working in a local community making a massive difference. Accept that you need God's assistance. Separate yourself. And then you need to adapt to the new world, the new culture, the new life that God has for you. For years, my world was the underworld. And then I had this light bulb moment, so I needed to adapt to the new life that God had planned out for me. I started going to the Bible studies at church. I started going to the prayer meetings at church. I remember sitting around a dining table to have a meal. I never did that. Certain daft little things that I needed to adapt to. And I'm still adapting now. And then I knew that I needed to participate. I needed to find something to do. I needed an outlet for my talent. For years, I was into dance music. I had a little studio set up. When I lived on the Borings in Moss Side in Newham, I'd made my own big speakers. So I knew about mixing desks. I knew about electronic instruments. So when I became a Christian, I started to go to this church and they had a PA system and they had nobody to set it up. So my first job in the church was to work the PA system. See, I started to participate. I found an outlet for that talent that I had. And I think if you do the same, you could be in a similar situation to me. You see, I was changed and I've stayed changed. No matter what your addiction is, that same God that jumped into my life, He can jump into yours. So why not find a quiet place? Away from any noise, away from people, just a quiet place somewhere. If you've got an addiction, and just shout to God and say, God, and just say, God, I need you to assist me. I need you to help me. Jump into my life like you jumped into that guy's Barry Woodward. My name's Barry Woodward. I was once an addict, and now I'm clean.